Yes, hello and welcome to the MCG for the second quarter-final of the Foxtel Cup for 2012. It's the Werribee Tigers hosting the West Perth Falcons. I'm joined in commentary by Adam Romanowskis and Barry Hall. And boys, bit of history for West Perth today. The first WAFL club to play at the home of footy, which is a big occasion.
Yeah, we did speak about that in previous games, that the Foxtel Cup does give teams like these opportunities to play at the best venue in the world for AFL. There's no doubt about that.
Some of these West Perth players haven't even visited the MCG, let alone played on it.
Well, that's right, and as Baz said, it's very special for those guys who have the opportunity to play here, and you know, it's something that I'll never forget, because you know the amount of history that's at this ground is something very special, and I know for myself, when I played here, I absolutely loved it.
The Werribee Tigers in very good form in the VFL, getting ready to make their entry onto the MCG as we check how the Foxtel Cup for 2012 has unfolded so far. We've had some great games going all the way back to round one, when we saw, of course, Morningside defeat Launceston, and of course they've been the surprise packets, getting through to the semi-finals, defeating Port Adelaide last week.
Yeah, a very good game by Morningside last week. Looking forward now to their semi-final.
And of course, the winner of today's game progresses through to the last four. Neither of these clubs have played in the Foxtel Cup before. Some big prize money starting to come before their eyes. $60,000 for the winner. Yeah,
well, it's certainly it's certainly a lot of money for a club of this level. So you can do a lot with that. Teams are getting very serious at this stage of the competition.
And Adam, you mentioned Claremont as your team that you thought would be the favourites, but a lot to like about Werribee in their opening performance against the Dockers. 133 points, their winning margin.
Well, there was plenty to like about Werribee from that performance, led by Scott West, who's the coach there. A lot of Kangaroos listed players, Matt Jack Dorr, Robbie Tarrant, they've Ben Spate. So Ben Spate was fantastic in that game against Burnie. Really hit the scoreboard. Really found plenty of the football. So looking for big things today from him again. But we've seen, I think one of the goals of the season at any level of football by Matt Jack Dorr. We're just going to see this now, but unbelievable show of athleticism here by the big fella to take on the opposing ruckman from the centre circle and kick an amazing goal. So, he'll be looking to really continue his development today, Mark.
No doubt about that. And so many North Melbourne listed players, they get their chance to press for selection with the Kangaroos having a bye. Of course, Barry, we were in Blacktown to watch West Perth. Not overly convincing, but they got the job done against Ainsley.
Well, they did. Ainsley were very, very willing, and it was probably their sheer fitness and skill level in the end that allowed them to be 42-point winners. But look, they've also got a lot of AFL listed players, and we'd expect them to be involved pretty heavily today. But like any game, midfield, if they can at least break even in the midfield, they're half a chance today. But one exclusion is probably Kepler Bradley today. We're expecting him to play, but maybe he's been recalled to Fremantle. We'll have to wait and see.
So there we have it, some good form for both these teams leading into this match. West Perth coming off a fiery draw in the Perth Derby, and of course it was a big win to Werribee over Collingwood in the VFL going back a week from now. As the Tigers make their entry onto the MCG, they start warm favourites today to progress to the semi-finals. And there's Ben Sharp wearing the inkwork, former Falcon. Speaking of the Falcons, here they come. Their first appearance at the home of footy. In fact, the first WAFL club to do just that. A big day for their ruckman, Chris Coonan, who celebrates his 100th match. Taken him 7 seasons to get there, but the school teacher does it on the great MCG. Given the weather, grey, overcast and some rain about, their small forwards, Strike, Salicic and Salikas are going to be very important. They're up against it, though, because Werribee have been in ripping form.
Oh, well, they have been in really good form, and as we said, a fantastic win against Burnie in that round one encounter, but plenty of AFL and ex-AFL experience littered through that team. Scott McMahon, Aidan Kennedy, Sam Gibson, Ben McKinley, Malcolm Lynch, Robbie Tarrant, Travis Tuck, Nathan Ablett. So, the list just keeps going on for them. So, expecting them to have a really tight tussle today, but I'm expecting Werribee to get over the line just.
Yes, a 109-point win over Collingwood last week. 44 scoring shots, so their forwards getting plenty of it last week. They're sitting 4th in the VFL at the moment with 6 wins and 3 losses. Robbie Tarrant, of course, I'd like to see more of him in blue and white than in Werribee colours, but a chance again to impress his coach at AFL level.
Yeah, there is. And look, and he's had his injury troubles, I think, Robbie Tarrant. So I think they just want to get some real consistency into his game where he can play a number of games of football. But look, today, the weather in Melbourne hasn't been spectacular over the last couple of days. It's been wet, it's been windy, it's been cold. And that's what we've had this morning. So those conditions may even the game up.
West Perth wanted a taste of Melbourne. They've got it today, and they've got the first clearance off the boot of Cooten to half forward. Lots of Tigers in defence, and McMahon gets the first meaningful touch across to Ruggles of West Perth. Rappel, Bartholomew's kick, half smothered. A chance for Salisic. Watch out, there's captain run down. He'll be penalised.
Just a conditions update down here, guys, if you're interested. It is obviously very, very wet, and we mentioned Foxtel Cup getting into the serious end of the business. Well, something's very serious down here, and someone forgot my umbrella because doing it hard down here at the moment.
The most reluctant boundary rider we've ever had at Foxtel Cup level is Ben Dixon, but hopefully that rain holds off for him. As the ball's in dispute on the outer side. Van Berlo, hands on it.
Well, you can just see early there, Baz, that a couple of little fumbles, the ball just going through their hands. So, you know, on a day like this, it's flat hands, knock the ball forward, keep the momentum of the ball going forward.
I certainly would have thought as a coach you'd be instructing the players, you know, maybe one handball kick is the way to do it. Keep it very basic in conditions like this.
Well, Morrow's kick was terrible. It's been turned over, and an open forward line presents itself for the Tigers now. Kick to Costello. Now Tarrant the target. Gets hands on it, tight angle, round the body, doesn't have enough bend on it.
Had a bit of a chat to Bill Monahan before the game about his structure up forward. He's going to go obviously quite small in the conditions, but the key he wanted to find earlier is the deep entries. As you know, in slippery conditions, the further it goes into your forward line, harder for Werribee is going to get out today.
Having said that, it's still pristine condition, the MCG. Drainage here is terrific as Lacroix from the kick in, popping it wide, and Morrow is on the end of it. Playing his first league game for 2012. And the Falcons working the ball along the outer side. Chipping pass, intended for Barden.
Oh, great handball.
And it now sets up Costello with that hand pass. Not a lot to kick to, so Costello just delays the kick. A lot of West Perth numbers getting back into defence. And he had very few options there.
They had very few options, so it's a really tough kick because you've got to be careful, because if you go towards the boundary, you'll obviously get pinged for deliberate out of bounds. Probably just needed more height to allow one of his Werribee teammates there to potentially get into that contest and bring the ball to ground.
Well, we spoke about adjusting to conditions as well, and a couple of the Werribee players went for that short pass. In the wet, that's not ideal. You need to just get to that long one and make a contest, because realistically, you've got to go long every time, particularly in those conditions.
Majak Dor from outside 50, bombs it long. Slippery footy now. And West Perth under pressure. And the hand pass just misses the target quite conveniently. We have a boundary throw-in deep inside the attacking 50. One point plays nothing. Quarter-final of the Foxtel Cup coming to you from the MCG. Ball in dispute near the boundary line. Barden was in the vicinity. So too his teammate who runs it over the line. And Crummer's required here for the Tigers. Ball spills for Jones. Hand pass defensively. Costello running out of room again. And Shannon applying the tackle. Searching for the first circuit breaker of this match. Bit of a spark to get one of these teams moving. Tarrant from behind. A good tackle. Spills. Great kick out of congestion. First of the day. And Werribee are on the board. And you'd have to say, when it comes to congestion, that is a terrific clearance. And the goal is on the board after that hand pass snuck out. And a quick goal kick there by Spate.
Yeah, and we mentioned Spate in the opener there, that he had a really good game against Burnie. But Ben Dixon made mention of it, and Barry Hall made mention of it. the ability to get that ball deep into your forward line and lock it in these conditions, and that's what Werribee were able to do there. It was 3 or 4 stoppages in a row there, and something eventually had to give, and it was just a little scrappy handball out, and Spate was in the right place at the right time to kick that goal.
Dorr won the tap decisively. That gave Werribee an opportunity for a clearance. Spate had it for a moment. McCrae, a little fumble. Gibson charging through. Rasmussen is tied up. He goes to ground. These conditions tailor-made for a player like him. He actually has a pet cow, for what it's worth. Back in Perth, Noble has a pet cow.
Milk.
And he's a dentistry student as well. So a man of many interests is Lane Rasmussen.
Look, very, very early stages of this first quarter, and Werribee have made about 6 interchanges already, so they're rotating quite a bit.
And they've got the ball at half forward. Mather to the pocket. Tarrant in front. Had one bite at it. Couldn't complete the mark. Ball still alive. No, it's out.
Well, that's what you want from your key forwards. You know, miss the mark, but the second effort and the forward pressure, that's what you want from your big blokes, especially in the wet.
Coonan works Tarrant out of it. Jones at the spill. Tumbling ball. Again, Werribee just at half forward, providing a bit of a brick wall. Majak Dorr did really well. Dangerous for the West Perth defence, but a clearing kick inside the centre square. Steady hands. Mark is taken. And
you mentioned about that brick wall, Mark. Majak Dorr's obviously taking the ruck contest and then dropping back as a loose man in defence. So they're setting that up with a loose player already, so I'm sure Bill will address that pretty shortly.
Sherlock's kick ends up with Lynch. Spun in the tackle. In fact, he snuck away. Defensive, spoiled by Shannon. Bartholomew tracks it to the boundary line and over.
Yeah, look, it was well done by Shannon then. As a defender, he's come off his man and actually read the play to get it out of bounds there, so it's a good initiative from a backman.
Ball's been camped inside this attacking 50 and in this pocket for the majority of the quarter. 7 plays nil. Tarrant knocks it to the side. Coonan across to Bartholomew, just trying to clear the area. Tedesco working his way to the front.
Well done.
Good work there. Werribee keeping it alive. In fact, they may even win themselves a free kick here, or the ball. Sherlock held without it and wins the free kick.
Well, it's very evident we're 7.5 minutes into this first quarter. 6 inside 50 to 0. Werribee have been in and under first there, evident by that kick it in danger free kick. So I think West Perth, they just need to slow the tempo of this game down when they get the ball in their hands, because at the moment it's been all one-way traffic.
Majak Dorr set himself. McKinlay sweating on it. Here's Ablett playing his first game for the Tigers. Too slick for Tarrant. And Jones just jams it on the boot. This is where the problem exists for West Perth, and Salikas, as it turns out. He's trapped, and a ball up, perhaps their best result.
If they can get composed, like Rammers mentioned, they've got all the space going forward, and they're quite small, as I said, in their setup. So the leg speed will hopefully lock that ball in.
Salikas makes about 45 metres. And Jones will gather the loose ball, although he took a long time to find the handle. The hand pass was poor. And just taking a few minutes, the West Perth players, to adjust to these slippery conditions. Scotty West, still no doubt, pretty keen to make sure that the Tigers take advantage of their early inside 50 dominance.
Yeah, look, they had a pretty ordinary start to the year, Werribee, but you know, the last month or so they've been very, very impressive in the VFL.
Coonan thought about going short. Perhaps that's his best option. A long ball inside 50. Kick out of the congestion. Now it's a question of Lynch trying to break free of his opponent, being guarded closely there by Brown. Dorr, interesting, off the ground. In these conditions, not the worst decision. Ablett tied up. Werribee with weight of numbers. Great smother by Rice. Now strike. Pressure though. Intense though from Werribee. Not many clean handling skills at the moment. Like a cake of soap as the rain starts to tumble down. Bartholomew across to Coonan. His kick was smothered. Strike will try and bust through the tackle. Salisic, just a wayward hand pass And Ruggles with a clearing kick. McMahon's close to the line and quite happy to see it out. Well, he does with a kick which makes about 15 metres. Got the full-grown beard as well as Scotty McMahon. Just plenty of growth happening there.
Bit of a bushranger look, I think.
Just the one goal so far, coming off the boot of Ben Spate. Jordan Jones has been hard at it, but hasn't found any space as yet. Gibson's hand pass intercepted by Brown, the former Blue. Centering kicks a good one. And the mark taken by Salikas. Loose men inside 50. Tedesco's there, charging through. Opportunity here. 15 metres out, and they finally get a goal off the boot of Jay Tyndall. They've only been inside 50 once or twice, boys. But efficiency is what this game's about.
Well, Dicko spoke about the space going inside 50, and they had certainly had plenty of that. So if they can get it past that halfway mark, which they've struggled to do at this stage, get inside 50, they've got all the space in the world. So even in the wet, that they can create goals like this.
And what happened there? Tyndall came off the bench, so he's just burst forward as quickly as he can, and the ball just because it was the pass was not intended for him at all, but you know he was there, and all credit to West Perth, because Werribee dominated the first 10 minutes of that game, but to sneak a goal really against the momentum will be so important for him and give him a lot of confidence now to settle into this game.
And Jordan Jones has been very industrious. 4 disposals for him. Chance for Rice. In the back. Free kick. So West Perth now starting to win some more of the football. Inside 50. Strong mark overhead by Ruggles. It is raining. It's tough conditions for the players and even tougher for a boundary rider.
Here with Jay Van Burlo, and conditions, obviously not for the Perth weather, mate, but it's been a bit of an arm wrestle early.
Yeah, it's been tight. Yeah, the conditions are a bit light drizzle all day, so it can be tough for contested marks, and that brings the crummers and the small forwards into play.
Yeah, and Bill mentioned that, I spoke to him before the game about the small forwards, and just the deep entries might trouble Werribee a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. We've picked the small forward line, so hopefully we can get it in deep and then they can lock it in there and score.
You got plenty of Victorians in your side, mate, so they're used to this weather.
Yeah, they love it. They've been telling us all about it, so.
Good on you, Jay.
Jay Van Burlo. 30 possessions and 2 goals against Ainsley in round 1 of the Foxtel Cup. And Werribee with a quick transition, just a skidding ball getting away from Treloar. Point the margin, 5.5 to play in the first quarter-final here at the MCG. Jordan Jones goes to ground. Umpire tells him to keep going. Surely he'll blow the whistle now. Tuck hovering.
And that's probably been the difference in the style of play at the moment, that when the ball's gone into Werribee's forward line, they've been able to lock it in. Where when it's gone into to West Perth's forward line, it's just been able to come out nice and quickly.
Ball still in dispute. Comes out the back. Opportunity for Spate, searching for his second. Off a step. Just hooks it a fraction. And Bill Monahan. Interesting week for him. Was fined by the WAFL for making inappropriate comments to the umpires in the Perth Derby. And that man, Brent LaCroix, fined $50 for wrestling. Wish in your day, Barry, they were that lenient on wrestling.
Worth $50, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, certainly wasn't enough to send him bankrupt. The Tigers from half back kept it alive. Comes across inside the centre square. Great tackle, not rewarded. And the toe poke will go very close to the boundary line. And pretty content in the end for a throw-in. Interchange gates being used regularly in this opening quarter. Shortened quarters in the Foxtel Cup. Door over the top. Tuck charging through. Clearance, though, to Van Burlo. And the ball over and out in front of Strike and Ruggles. They'll be pretty happy with this, West Perth, considering the dominance of Werribee, just a 2-point deficit.
Oh, they will be. Because, like you said, Werribee have really dominated this quarter, but really for no result on the scoreboard. So, you know, West Perth can tidy up that area of the game and start getting their hands on the football a little bit more, because when they have taken the ball forward, they've been quite effective. As we'll see now, they're going to go into a more of an open forward line than Werribee have been.
Andrew Strike, the West Coast Eagle, drives it long at the back. Crummers, Salikas.
Well, we spoke about conditions a lot in this early part, but I reckon if it was a dry day, that Werribee would probably be, a lot further in front of what they are. Just haven't taken their opportunities and adjusting to the conditions at the moment. But it might take them a quarter or two.
McMahon really keen to run this ball out of defence, and the Tigers have set up some loose numbers at half back. Spearing ball, looking for Lynch, gets to the back, and Tyndall will be first to it. Needs to be clean here. And the pass is okay.
He's got nothing to kick to here.
Fowler came into this side for Bradley, but he's come in ball, bit of danger, but he's spotted his man Rasmussen, and now it opens up for West Perth. Kick to half forward is good. Lacroix just outside his range, but he's got a man in short, good vision, and now from about 35 metres out, Aaron Black can go back and put West Perth in front.
It's amazing, that risk to just take the corridor on and be composed, like you mentioned, Rama, early, and they just found that player inside 50, because Werribee had two free players trying to clog space up, but just smart with the ball.
Yeah, it was really well done there by Fowler to bring that ball back into that centre corridor, because he had absolutely nothing down the line.
Black with some momentum in the run-up. The kick. Well, the young man who was born on December 25, 1992. All his Christmases have come at once. He's kicked a goal at the MCG.
Well, they'll be ecstatic at where the scoreline is at the moment, as we were spoken about. Werribee's had all the play, haven't taken their opportunities, and minimal inside 50s, but they've used it every time it's gone in.
So a 5-point lead. West Perth, the numbers don't stack up in their favour, except where it counts. Dorr, decisively, almost a half forward. Mather, across to Sharp, standing start. Dangerous ball here. Ablett trapped it well. Hand pass missed the mark. Rasmussen, his ball was chopped off. Costello had it for a moment. West Perth having to defend grimly. Last man to get to his feet, Ben Spate. Played a lot of games last year for North Melbourne as the sub, and with pretty good effect. He's over the football but can't grab it. Jones, kick smothered. And so the ball's coming back. Sharp is on the end of a pass to half forward. Great chase down by Rice. Well, his lack of awareness there cost him. Ben Sharp, the former Falcon, as it turns out, spent some time at West Perth. So Bill Monahan would be delighted with that turnover with less than a minute to play. Black has it, defensive 50. Cross to Brown. Wants the 50. In fact, he's called to play on. A kick and hope. Strike is outnumbered. Good tackle again by West Perth. This time it was Black stopping the momentum. Sherlock kicking long. Lacroix in best position. Three West Perth players went up. Costello at ground level. Dribbling ball, bouncing just to the wrong side. And Flay may have had that covered, but West Perth look like they'll take a lead into quarter time.
Oh, they will. They've just obviously got to not turn the ball over here.
Which they almost did. Soccer off the ground. Jones has been terrific. And the danger has passed for the Falcons. They will be delighted. Werribee, short price favourites to go through to the semi-finals, have been tested. West Perth at the MCG for the first time lead by 4 points in a quarter-final of the Foxtel Cup. The first circuit breaker of this match. Bit of a spark to get one of these teams moving. Tarrant from behind. A good tackle. Spills. Great kick out of congestion. First of the day. As yet, Gibson's hand pass intercepted by Brown, the former Blue. Centering kicks a good one. The mark taken by Salikas. Loose men inside 50. Tedesco's there, charging through. Opportunity here. 15 metres out, and they finally get a goal off the boot of Jade Tyndall. Yes, West Perth surprise quarter-time leaders over Werribee in a quarter-final of the Foxtel Cup. 2-1-13 to 1-3-9. Jordan Jones with 8 touches for the Falcons. Bill Monahan, the coach of West Perth, addressing his charges.
Be really aggressive when we get the ball to run it out at them and take it on, but we've got to be able to hold them up there, because that's what they want to do. They want to run the ball out of here and spread it from half back, and that's about what they base their whole game on at the moment. Really happy with our intensity levels, really happy with our pressure. We just need to use the ball a little bit better going forward 15. We'll get them.
Bill Monahan pretty happy with the players. One thing he mentioned earlier was in terms of the rotations of Werribee. They're coming on and off quite quickly, and we just need to get the matchups right down back. But he was obviously very complimentary of views of the corridor that created that goal. So he wants to see a few more risks this quarter and a bit more saturation in Werribee's forward line, because he said they had time and space, and if they get time and space, they'll really hurt you. So look for that this quarter.
Thanks, Dicko. 11 inside 50s to 4 in that quarter, favouring Werribee. Conversely, Scotty West would be unhappy with the conversion.
Well, no doubt, because the stats were all in Werribee's favour for that quarter. Clearances, they were clearly ahead. Possession account, they're clearly ahead. So I think Scott West will want, he want more goals on the board for the effort they're putting in. Whereas on the other hand, West Perth have just been really efficient when they've been bringing the ball forward there. Lacroix, that little chip kick in there to his teammate was really, really smart, because I think everyone was expecting that kick to go long, but that's what you can do in these conditions, because your opponents can assume that you're going to continually go long, where there's those little hit-up targets still there, Baz.
And we spoke about the interchange early in the game, and you can actually use that as a tactic to confuse opposition and matchups, which West Perth spoke about.
Yes, Jay Tyndall coming off the bench, and the recipient of an easy ball and a goal. Van Berlo. Big pack, crashes at half forward. McMahon at the back, and well read by Flay, who's been such a terrific player for the Falcons, the reigning fairest and best. Sherlock's hand pass, tuck. I'll get you to talk me through his hairstyle soon, Barry. As Werribee set up through the middle, dangerous ball. Rasmussen spoils McKinley. Heavy hit on Crisp, and he's pushed in the back.
And he deserves it too, because he played that really well. His ability here just to turn his body when he's coming to get that ball, and then just really poor there by the Werribee play into the back of Crisp.
Salisic just sneaking away from his opponent inside 50 in his 5th year as captain. Perhaps just outside his range, but certainly a better start to this quarter than the first term by West Perth. Drizzle continues. Gloomy day in Melbourne. This will take Salisic's best effort. Right to the goal line. There was a shepherd there by Barton. The umpire allowed that, irrespective, it hit the post.
And all grounds we've spoken about, there's a hard pocket to kick from. Baz, at the MCG, what is the hardest position to kick goals from here?
Well, I'd say that the opposite side of where we just kicked from is a tough pocket, unless you're Buddy Franklin and got a bit of that curve. But
or Ben Dixon after the siren.
Yes, yes.
Got that DVD in my car if you want it, Mark, later on.
In fact, when he dropped me off to the airport last week, he had 150 of those DVDs ready and willing to give them out at discounted prices as well. West Perth by 5 points. They're deep into attack. Coonan to the front. Comes off the boot of Gibson. And they're looking for a holding the ball decision here, West Perth, and pretty upset that the umpire doesn't oblige. Gibson the last man to emerge. Ball slapped in the direction of Jones. Van Berlo can't break free. Well, there's a bit of fortune for Werribee coming out of defence, and they can clear the area. To half forward, Tarrant caught behind. Good pressure though. In fact, neat little hand allowed Mather to run onto it. Spate right near the boundary line, along with Dustin Burns. They've got a piece of the Fox footy camera.
Once again, just a bit of education for Tarrant. He probably should have just sprinted back towards goal and go that long kick. It's the hardest kick in the book when they're running, across the ground, because you got to judge the depth, and then you got to judge where you put it out in front of him. So it's a very hard kick to master.
And there was that space out the back for Tarrant to make that more angled lead.
Chris Coonan, the 100 gamer, wins the free kick, but the disposal left a lot to be desired. Easy pickings for McMahon. Quite prepared to switch the play. And Lynch, after a fumble, can drive it long. Ablett was really up against it here. Got a couple to beat. The Cra playing at half-back finds his man Bartholomew.
Werribee need to take a leaf out of West Perth's book. They came into the corridor, then went out the other side to a 2v1. They're just obviously not utilising their free players. They had a couple in the middle, so they need to go a little bit more direct, and West Perth got the rewards in the first quarter.
Kick by Fowler's knocked over the line. And Salisic, it's not a tall forward line by any stretch. He's become the target in this quarter as West Perth go forward. Dorr intercepted by Coonan. Across to strike. It's going to go across the face.
Well, it's happened a couple of times now, Dicko, that they have switched the ball, and the reason you switch is to use the space out the other side. Werribee just haven't worked hard enough to get there. They've been outnumbered, as I said, a couple of times. They just need up their work rate just a little bit. Yeah,
they're relying on those spares as behind play, you know, that'll just mop up and obviously be a bit more creative. But you're right, even at the stoppage in front of me about a minute ago, there was no urgency to spread and obviously work rate.
Coonan and Dorr. Coonan gets a kick away. Here's a chance. Van Berlo got it from Salikas and then lost his footing and the footy. It allows Sharp to swoop. And they can clear the area now at Werribee. To the wing, Lynch, McKinley and also Flay in the vicinity.
Well, they're very fortunate here. We'll see the handball. Van Berlo just missed the ball completely because his teammate there would have been out and kicked an easy goal. So very fortunate there, Werribee, that ball's not back in the centre circle now for a bounce.
Well, Bartholomew may have picked it up, but decided to try and hack it off the ground. Jones is shut down by Tuck. Talk us through that, Barry, will you? Just got the sides shaved and then...
Well, I'm not sure we should talk to him or his hairdresser for doing it.
What do they say? It's business at the front, a little party at the back.
He used to, at Hawthorn, he used to come in with some doozies, a rat's tail and the checks in the side. He's an absolute star, Tucky.
Yep, doing some work there as well with that current dude. Here's Costello. Nice work through congestion. Oh, that's terrific delivery.
Fantastic.
And if a goal comes from McKinley, Costello can take enormous credit because not only did he get through a lot of congestion, had the vision and the poise.
Well, that's where the class rises to the top, doesn't it? A player that can do that under pressure, weave through some traffic, but then execute the skill. And you know, we've got a shot on goal now, so fantastic work.
Ben McKinley's kicked 16 goals this year, including 4 against Collingwood last week. That never looked like missing. And Werribee back in front.
Well, Costello was able to get through traffic brilliantly, and we'll see the replay on screen. But I was watching further down the field, and I was watching McKinley, and what McKinley was able to do there, he was able to lead hard back to the goals, then double back to Costello to get just that 1 or 2 metres on his opponent. And Costello had enough composure to hold on to that football long enough, and like I said, just to spot up that shorter target. In these conditions, those shorter targets are still important because the opposition's expecting you to go long on more occasions than not. So those short targets really come into play.
Sharp with the clearance. Great work by Flay. Got rid of McKinley.
He's done it a couple of times.
He was really filthy on himself for allowing McKinley to slip clear a moment or two ago, but stood up superbly then. Across to Jordan Jones. Well-weighted pass. Salikas. The run from Bartholomew. Well weighted. Spoil comes over the top from Sirakoski. There's Kennedy. With him Tedesco. And it's off hands. Crowd here. Most seeking the sanctuary of the grandstand. Of course, another Tiger Army making its way to the MCG today as well. Fowler. May have been nudged in the back. Rasmussen. Nice gather. Black shut down very quickly. Good pressure. Ablett couldn't gather at ground level. Now Kennedy. It's a slippery footy. And still West Perth working hard. No whistle. Ablett. Can he find some space, the big man? Eventually. on his left. But on the wing, West Perth, resolute. Lynch, hands to Mather. Tumbling ball, dangerous for the defence, and a very good mark taken out in front of his face there by Treloar. Ball set up for Sherlock. It's sliding, it's bouncing. Oh, it hits the post, and so does Sherlock. Well, he wasn't sure where that was rolling, but unfortunately Sherlock and Treloar didn't get the right roll as Ben Dixon joins us boundary side.
Thanks, Mark. And Bill, pleasing first quarter. It was obviously a bit of an arm wrestle, but the conditions play a fair part toward that.
It did. Look, we've been told that Werribee have been good starters, so we were pumped up, ready for it. And I thought our guys' attack on the footy and their pressure skills were great. So it's a matter of now being able to hold on. They're just starting up their pressure a bit. So we need to make sure we use the ball well going forward.
And it took a while. You're coming out of your fence and you're pinpointing and a bit more composed possession, but there was one that went into the corridor direct, and it was just taking the risks.
Yeah, it was, and we'd like to be able to do that a bit more. Obviously, the conditions aren't great for that for us, but we actually thought that was probably an area that we could get them with our foot skills. We're a high kicking side, and we thought we could get them, and we're still trying to do that whilst the conditions are the way they are.
And you've stacked your side with Victorian boys. Is that for the conditions, or?
Oh, a bit of both. We've got a couple of Victorian guys, and it's an opportunity for them to get back and see their families, and we've probably got 30 or 40 Victorian families around here watching as well. So it's a bit of both.
And in terms of, I suppose, your dynamics of your forward line, you went small, speed to lock the ball in. Was that always the intention, or was it just the weather?
Oh, no, it was. Again, our information was that they spread the ball very well from half back, and if we can lock the ball in our forward 50, it gives us a chance to score. But we don't have a lot of tall key forwards anyway, so we left a couple of our bigger boys at home, but the smaller guys are doing the job.
I think you've just kicked a goal, so I'll let you get back to it, Bill.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks to Bill Monahan, fourth year as coach, and out of the centre square, the quickest way home. But importantly, Matthew Fowler's hands superb in these conditions.
Yeah, really strong hands there by Fowler. So a good response by West Perth, because Werribee were having a little period through that second quarter where they were right on top in the game. So that goal against the flow is always important in conditions like these.
Jay Van Burlo coming off 23 disposals against East Perth. Up a Joondalup. Tigers to full forward. Tarrant in the vicinity. Chance for Lynch. Flips it up. They've got numbers at half forward at the 50. 2-on-1 favours the Falcons here in the defensive punch. Well, there's a dangerous knockback by Tyndall. Comes to Costello. He keeps it alive. Mather back to Costello. Worked it beautifully across the face. I'm not sure that was intended for Treloar, but he's a very grateful recipient.
I reckon he'll claim it.
Hard work inside attacking 50, and Jordan Treloar runs around, snaps. He likes it. He punches the air. And the response comes immediately from the Tigers.
And again, Mather was involved in that piece of play there. He's been really good for him across half forward. So that's great work there. But as again, the captain Costello, it was a 2-on-1 contest there, and for him just to be able to win that football, he's why Werribee were kicking out goal there, and Treloar ended up kicking that goal. It was because he worked hard. He was able to win that contest, and that's so important that. You do win a couple of those 2-on-1 contests within the game.
It's an interesting set shot too. He had all the time in the world to run out. West Perth should have had a guy inside, so make it a little bit tougher for him.
They're going to go forward again. Lynch, lively, high ball, forwards, nervous time here. Going back, Filet with enormous courage. And the hand pass comes out the back door to the advantage of Rasmussen. Kick though, Sirakoski. Does he want to keep it in? Yes, he does. He is surrounded, though. And Barton has to leap over a teammate and an opponent. Tyndall is there. And Ablett somehow sends it skyward. Tarrant from behind. Charging through. Sharp. With him was Brown. Like a pinball in there. Majactor going back with courage. He was confronted by Salisic. McMahon kicks to the space inside 50. Tarrant goes to ground. Costello, a chance. Not just once, but twice. well, does it terrifically. Once again, just makes room from nowhere and gave the Tigers a scoring opportunity. Falcons really under siege here. And Sharp is going to set up again. A bobbling ball, tough at the best of times in these conditions for Martinello. And we'll have a boundary throw in. No question the work ethic from both teams today terrific. And Dion Flay, you like the way he goes about his work.
I really do like you look at that. That's just desperation there to get his arm in, because if he doesn't, his man takes him up. We've seen him flying, going back with the flight of the ball just earlier. So he's a very good player. You can see why he's their reigning best and fairest winner.
Martinello on his left. A touch of class at the MCG in the quarter-final of the Foxtel Cup.
Yeah, it was a great finish. Invaluable guys that can do that. Finish the hard work inside 50. It's great to see.
What's been impressive, I think, I've really liked Robbie Tarrant's work at the stoppages inside Werribee's forward 50. He's got the responsibility. Ben Dixon made mention of it. Matt Jackdaw, he's been the extra man behind the ball there, just trying to clog up space in that wall. But Robbie Tarrant's had all the ruck work, and he's probably won, 50 or 60% of those contests, and there've been contests where he's been able to hit the ball to the advantage of his Werribee teammates, which is the most important hit-outs.
Strong work by Tedesco at ground level. West Perth searching for a response before half-time. They've won a free kick. They've decided to take the advantage through Van Berlo, and the mark accepted inside 50 by Crisp. Centering ball is a good one, and the man who has the footy is Aaron Black, and you wish your teammates at times would have that sort of vision and the polish to go with it.
Well, go back downstairs to Ben Dixon, and it's exactly what their coach wanted, Dicko, there with their foot skills.
No doubt. He just said take the risks inside the corridor, but that worked from Black then. He came from half back knowing full well the space was out there.
He's almost come from half back with this run up, gets plenty of momentum on the runway. I'll tell you what though, he gets the job done. 2 goals to Aaron Black.
He's actually got a good momentum when he kicks for goal. His momentum's all forward, all straight. If you've got a good ball drop, there's no other place it can go except straight.
We're seeing that more and more, Baz, with guys set shots for goal. They try to almost take them like it's a running shot for them, because they feel a lot more comfortable getting that full momentum in the ball. Black, twice in his set shots, he's had full momentum going through that football. So, there's no need for him to sit back on the football and for it to give it a chance to go either side of the goals.
Martinello and Tyndall go to ground. Jordan Jones just pushing his opponent Tuck in the back in his desperation to win the footy. Tuck jams it on the boot, fortuitously onto the chest of Sherlock. Just over 2 minutes of play, the margin is 8. Terrific spotter. Ablett didn't have to break stride.
He's been all right today, Ablett. His first hit out, I reckon he's been okay.
Kick, though, was wide of the mark. Lynch gets a hand free. Now Spate goes left, right. Can he break through another one? No. Tried to do just a little too much there, and it's turnover time. Coonan had to stretch. Madjack was sweating on him. And it's a foot race with Crisp in good position, but the ball got away from him. Sotomarco taken by Dorr. Probing kick. Fly under pressure here at the back. They've got some numbers. And Tyndall cross to Lacroix. They've worked it well. Flay. Terrific ball for Black. Watch out, about to be run down. And this is an important ball with just over a minute to play. And it's won by Dustin Burns. Across to Jones. Some space now for Tedesco to work into. Great hands. And he was under pressure, but kept his composure.
They've just got the mix right. Limited handballs, by foot. They've just used the ball beautifully to get inside 50 a number of times this quarter.
Great hands in the wet. It's a difficult ball to mark under pressure, and he's taken it very cleanly.
75 career games for Luke Tedesco. Gets very close to the man on the mark, searching for that extra distance, and as a result, can't find the target. Margin back to 7. Scotty McMahon quite content I'm sure with the rest of his teammates to see out the danger here. Oh, that might not help. It's out of bounds on the full, and one last chance with 21 seconds on the clock.
Just get it in there long.
Well, that's disappointing from Werribee's point of view, particularly that late in the quarter. You don't want to take any risk at all.
Mark required. Black sends it long. Oh, goes Salikas. He thought Mad Jack thought, in fact, it might have been his teammate Joel Rice. Was it coming from behind? He saw the Foxtel mark of the year. There's no car, unfortunately, we're giving away this year, but he was searching for one.
Oh, the Datsun 120B's not up for grabs.
Not at this stage, Dicko. It's been low scoring, but importantly, it's also tight in a quarter-final of the Foxtel Cup. Some concerns for Jay Van Berlo with a shoulder injury. Werribee, they're in front, but it's tight. It's 5-4-34, the Falcons 4-3-27. It is half-time in the Foxtel Cup, quarter-final of the MCG, and West Perth have taken it right up to Werribee. The Falcons led by 4 points at quarter-time, but the Tigers just taking control to some extent in that second term to lead by 7 points. Costello being very good for the Tigers with 10 possessions. All single goal kickers for Werribee. Aaron Black has 2 for West Perth as we head into the Falcons' rooms.
Generally speaking, what we've got to do is we've got to stop their chains of handball. We've been good with it. Your endeavour to pressure has been fantastic, okay? But we haven't been able to stop their chains of handball. Once we've controlled the ball, then we can open them up. And again, that quarter there was examples of coming back through the middle. And we want to keep coming back through the middle, but get off the mark quickly, all right, spot them up through the middle. If not, we need to go quicker and longer to our forwards. Now, what we've done a bit to our forwards, much to Rice's liking with that one down there in the goal square, we're kicking it high. Let's get it out and into space, and if they go out of bounds, they go out of bounds. We've actually been okay with our stoppages in our forward 50, all right? So we need to kick it to advantage and make it a stop ball, not bomb it up high, let them get numbers spread and then run it back at us. So we need to lock the ball in our forward 50. When the ball gets there, we need to keep it there until there's a score. All right, and once there's a score, then we can reassess again from there. But at the moment, too many times going in the forward 50, them spreading, and we're working hard both ways. And your pressure's been great. Your work rate's been fantastic. So really happy with that. So we need to continue to do that. We need to close down Martinello in the middle.
Bill, very quick to get his players in and address a few things in terms of the way Werribee's going about it. 50 more handballs, Werribee, so they're trying to obviously just get out of congestion a little bit, but they've used the ball beautifully, West Perth, in getting it into their forwards. They want to get nice and deep this quarter and obviously utilise that squeeze that Werribee's trying to obviously play that man-behind play, but he's very happy, Bill, as you would be, only a goal down at half-time, so expect a big showing from West Perth this half.
And Scotty West hoping for an improvement also from Werribee, who dominated the opening quarter inside 50s before West Perth started to get more of the footy, but there's some scope for improvement in this side as well.
I think there's a lot of scope for improvement for Werribee. They just haven't been efficient enough with their ball use. Because they've dominated possession, they're leading clearances, they're leading inside 50s. So all those stats, contested football, they're leading also. So they're just not getting reward for effort at the moment, and I think that's what will really concern Bill Monahan.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the message was for Scott West at half time, and it'd be all around that. It'll be all around efficiency with the ball. They've had their hands on the ball quite a bit. They just haven't used it enough and then hit the scoreboard, so it'll be interesting to see how they go the second half.
I'll give you a disclaimer, being a West Australian, a couple of excuses if West Perth go down today. Not that I support the Falcons. Coming off a 5-day break, they played on Monday, and this match started at 10:30 thereabouts local time, which is 8:30 Perth time. So they've just woken up in my mind. I think their second half may well be better than their first. They've come here. I don't think it'd matter if they played at midnight, the West Perth boys. They're just absolutely rapt to be on this stage.
Well, they seem to be morning people then. They've started okay.
They have indeed. And Bill Monahan,
I think it's a funny one because we speak about 5-day breaks, 6-day breaks so much. I think once you're out there, I think it's irrelevant. It really is, whether you've played 2 days ago. We see numerous times with the rugby league that those guys are backing up from state of origin 2 or 3 days later, and they sometimes perform better. So, look, these guys are semi-professional, so they're very fit. So I don't think that becomes a real factor. I think the factor, as Baz and I spoke about at half time, is potentially West Perth having the ability to run this game out maybe a touch better, playing on those big grounds over there.
Well, the one thing it can affect is your training and preparation, and that's out of their control. So, and probably the last 5 minutes of the game, you know, if there is fatigue, that's when it becomes a mental game. You can still push through that, but fatigue is, if it sets in, it's an issue.
Mind you, these are shorter quarters in the
Yes.
Foxtel Cup, so perhaps putting too much credence on 5-day breaks and travel, etc., is a little wasted. There's a game to be won here. It's a 7-point lead to Werribee. The winner goes through to the semi-finals of the Foxtel Cup. Jordan Jones had it for a moment. Werribee with a chance through Ruggles, who had his head down. He's trying to draw that high free kick. And Chris Coonan doing it in the ruck and at ground level. Here's Tuck. Back it goes to Ruggles. Almost to the 50. Sure hands by LeCras. Unfortunately, his brother Mark, of course, star West Coast Eagle, is sidelined this year with that knee reconstruction. Speaking of Eagles, there's Andrew Strike, who would love to get back into that West Coast side before the end of the year.
Tough team to get in, isn't it?
Thought they were a bit short on forwards, but they have certainly covered some big names really well. First goal here for West Perth, pretty important. Sotomarco had it momentarily, so too Jones. It's a holding decision, and Jordan Jones, formerly from the Peel Thunder, has won the free kick. Bouncing ball is okay. Tyndall to a dangerous spot. Barton was up, big fist, and saw it to the safety of the goal line for Werribee.
I think that was Aidan Kennedy that came in there just from the side, and a fantastic spoil because it really just killed that contest. And now, well, Werribee can maybe clear the ball, but it's a very good tackle there by West Perth. The ball's slid out.
Yep, fairly, was under pressure. Tuck relieves the situation. Mather, wonderful gather, took a while to get rid of it. Martinello worked off it, comes to Sirakoski. And pushing wide is Sharp. If it sits, the Tigers are a real chance to go forward and score. Hand pass back to a real 50-50 situation. Donaldson labouring after it. The big man. He's a kick in danger. Well, Sharp a little unfortunate there in these conditions to be penalised. He's got some fresh ink work on the arm as well, Barry.
He sure has. It was very shiny pre-game.
Doing a bit Strike.
Just a bit of oil on it, I think, Baz, just to the opponent, just to slide off you.
Very proud of the artwork.
Indeed, as Mangan cleans up, kicks for Dorr. And Majak lopes onto his right. Jones will come from the side and spoil Sirakoski. And we have a boundary throw in. 6 points the margin, 15 minutes to play. Jordan Jones terrific. Highest disposal getter for West Perth so far with 13. And a couple of Tigers anxious for their chance.
It's really just the basics they're lacking at the moment, Werribee. As I said, they've got a hell of a lot of play, but just basic little handballs and skill errors are just costing them so much now.
As the drizzle becomes almost rain here, it's tough conditions for footy. The ground's still in very good condition.
And just an injury report, Chris Shannon, West Perth's on a hamstring, so he's take no further part.
He's off, and of course Kepler Bradley was a late exclusion. He'll play for the Dockers in a couple of hours from now. As Van Berlo tumbles a ball through the hands of Salika. Strike. Did he push his opponent in the back? No whistle. Is that a push in the back? Well, Tiger supporters perhaps a little aggrieved at that officiating. But West Perth spread it to Tedesco. Short ball for Strike, who's run on. Got some tall targets deep inside 50. I'm not sure that's the best option to the pocket, but wonderful hands. Gee, Crisp there was entitled to be spoiled or drop the footy. He didn't either.
Oh, just terrific hands there, coming at a full speed, and to take it at its highest point, right in his hands there, Crisp. It's a great mark, but really tough angle now to kick this goal.
It is very tough, and it'll take his absolute best effort. Looking for the first goal of this third quarter. Mark Crisp. Umpire doing some work to his left-hand side, but it's under a goal now, the deficit for West Perth.
It's Scott McMahon here just telling his players to get into the huddle. West Perth are going man on man at all these kick-ins, so get into the huddle to be able to create space.
As is his want, McMahon runs and then dishes off. Strike in good position. At the back though, Rice sends it back from where it came. Plenty of Tigers in the vicinity here. Oh, through the hands there of a player in Fairley. Tuck scrambles a kick. Important ball here for Lacroix to at least square, which he did in the end. And Coonan hand passing now for Rasmussen. About to be shut down. Well worked by May. They really put pressure on. And the Falcons are heading in reverse momentarily until Tyndall gets hold of it, but the kick was poor. And Mather, like the way he goes about his work, should win himself a mark or a free kick.
He might have hurt himself there. I think he's landed quite heavily. We'll see in this marking contest.
Oh, the ankle.
Yeah, little ankle. Those ones don't tickle.
And he's finding it really tough to stay upright. That replay just accentuating what that ankle had done to it. Not pretty. Majak Dor on the end of a turnover. Flay under pressure. Played it really well.
He's a good player.
And now they can really spread as Van Berlo back to Flay, calling for someone to come to him. And there's a relay free kick. Such a dependable figure in defence. Yeah. And it might work out okay with Crisp. Up and down. Ends up with Sotomoko, and now Sirakoski. Lace out to McKinley. And some loose men starting to work their way inside attacking 50. And a shot on goal coming up here for Sam Gibson, the former captain and fairest and best of the Box Hill Hawks. Best to give the Tigers a little bit of breathing space.
He's probably been a little bit unlucky, Gibson, not to have played more games so far with the Kangaroos this season. He's been in really good form.
Sam Gibson gives it everything and just pushes it to the left. Would have thought that Tigers cheer squad, although it's the Richmond cheer squad, may have at least got into the theme of the Tigers and maybe shown some support during the Foxtel Cup.
They'll be thinking that the Werribee guys have North Melbourne players in there. So, you know, the Tiger supporters are like, they are very, very one-eyed. If you're not one of their own, they don't care about you at all.
Yes, in fact, some have even turned their back on proceedings as Dor.
I reckon they'll be broken for West Perth, to be honest.
Probably. Here's Tarrant. Will he get to the contest? Was it touched? No, he did. Tedesco's adamant he had a fingernail on that. But Robbie Tarrant timed his run and the kick was superbly weighted. Looked okay on replay. Question now, can Robbie Tarrant, eyes transfixed on the target? Kicked 5 goals against Collingwood last week, so he knows where they are. Oh, brilliant finish. Great effort. And Robbie Tarrant delivers from the pocket in spectacular fashion.
Just an injury update. Jared Mather down here getting his ankle inspected. Just tweaked the ligaments on the right-hand side and getting a bit of a referral up his leg. So I'll just let you know if he's going to come back on.
Touched or not touched?
Nah, Mark. In conditions like this, it's a mark. Well, I've really been impressed with Majak Dor today because, look, he's not your natural footballer. He's obviously that athletic type and really learning his way in the game. But he's played that kick behind the football really smartly today, where he's got himself into the right position. He's really been able to influence the contest on a lot of occasions so far.
Big clearance for the Tigers with Tuck now across to Tarrant. And it comes with a nice effort from Lynch. The goal is kicked by Treloar. And they start to put a gap between themselves and the Falcons.
And as we said, Rama, in the half-time break, one thing that allows him to do that is Tarrant rucking in the forward line.
Yeah.
Have a forward who can ruck is invaluable.
Important work here by Tarrant as well.
Well, important work here by Lynch as well. He's able just to hold the West Perth player off just enough to give Treloar just that bit of space when the ball hit his hands there, and just a real clinical finish there. And that's what you want. Conditions like this, that ball goes deep inside 50, create the contest, and anything can happen.
Suddenly, an 18-point margin in favour of Werribee. Jones hand passes back into congestion, and Majak at ground level feeds Ruggles. Lynch looking dangerous and lively. Did he throw it? Did he flip it? Yes, the umpire was there, and advantage will be paid.
We spoke about Majak Dort, Ramo, and it'd be good to get your opinion. Where's he going to play at an AFL level? Is he a ruckman? Is he, a halfback? Was he half forward? Where realistically in the North Melbourne Football Club will he be playing footy?
Well, we've seen him here, and he's played ruck in both of these games. So, and he's done that quite effectively. But he has to have that other string to his bow where he can go forward and be able to play as that key leading forward and kick a few goals a game, because those Majak to me is that second ruckman type that he goes into that centre circle and is able to impact.
Let's go down to the boundary with Ben Dixon and a special guest from the Tigers.
Thanks, Mark. Travis Tuck. It's been probably ideal for you in terms of the conditions the hard ball gets. It's been a bit of a slog early.
Has, mate. Bit wet and wild and all that sort of stuff. So, the boys are going well. Just surging it forward, play the game in our half and go from there.
And Barry Hall's very intrigued where the inspirations come from your hair today. I've known you for a long time, and there's been some absolute beauties. Where's the inspiration come from?
It's a little bit different, mate. I don't know. I just sort of do it myself, mate, believe it or not. So just give it a whack up and see how it goes there.
Might get you to do mine later on, Tucky. But you've had a great year and obviously putting yourself right in the hunt of it again. But it's great to see you boys out there, like yourself and Nathan Ablett, just really taking it on.
Yeah, it's been good. Took a little bit for the North Melbourne Werribee sort of connection to go early days, but now we're 4 in a row, so we're going all right.
And Shane's just killing it too, just pumping you up. And you blokes still boxing in the garage, just testing each other out?
Yeah, sometimes we've got to solve the old tuck duels down at Berry there, but no, he goes well and he's been doing real well, so good on him, yeah.
Good on you, Tucky.
Cheers, Dick.
Dicko and Travis Tuck.
Might be a little business venture for him there, Mark. Tucks, cuts or something like that.
Do it yourself. I'm not sure if he's got a mirror when he does it, but good luck to him. He's enjoying it and adding some colour to this Foxtel Cup. 18 points to lead. Werribee have taken control in this quarter, kicking 2 goals to 0, and Majak Dor had hands on it again. Burns has a couple of goes at it. The Tigers with control. McKinley at centre half forward. Space opening up. West Perth defence under enormous pressure. Tarrant comes to Ablett, wants to lay it off. He might go himself. The big man with a floater. It'll go right to the goal line, and like a fieldsman, basically, at fine leg, waiting for the top edge.
They are so difficult to mark. He done a good job then.
He did. Dustin Burns was waiting a fair while. No breeze, but certainly anxious moments. Coonan, hand pass, Sirakoski. Oh, not only did he knock it clear, he stole it. Can he go all the way? It's a long ball. Oh, it's touched by Donaldson. That would have been very close to matching Majak Dor's effort at Etihad Stadium when it comes to goal of the Foxtel Cup.
And again, Sirakoski there straight off the bench, straight into the action, able to intercept, and that looked good for him. We were right behind that here.
We were riding it home, let's be honest. That was a superb bit of footy. Donaldson was on Carlton's list. Strong hands, mark taken on the wing, and the ball is going back inside 50. Warmold. Cross to Treloar.
It was really good work from him. It takes a lot of courage for a backman to stand in front of his forward. He backed himself and won out in the end, so good on him.
Here's Spate. Just wiggles the hips, breaks clear and misses. Another minor score to Werribee, but
they've been dominant, Werribee. They've been dominant through this quarter, and it's been from the start of the quarter. You know, it's West Perth. They've probably only had 2 or 3 inside 50s for this quarter, so they probably just need to just slow the momentum down, because they're still close enough if they can get a bit of a run on to get back into this game. But at the moment, it's been all Werribee.
Jones gets through some traffic, and now they can break. Cross to strike. It's an open forward line. Tigers defence under pressure. Well, dropping the mark was Fowler. Can he knock it free? He's got support. Van Berlo slung in the tackle. Across it comes to Rice. Now here's Brown. 40 out around his body. Hasn't got enough on it. And the spoil came from McMahon, in fact. Keeps it alive, and Majak Dor bounding out of defence as we go to Ben Dixon with the coach of Werribee.
Thanks, Mark. And Westy, it's been, I suppose, a bit more of an arm wrestle from the last time you played in the Foxtel Cup, but they've really thrown everything at you.
Yeah, they have. They've been terrific. Their pressure around the footy caused us into errors, and they've taken it right up to us.
And at half-time, you had 50 more handballs, but you definitely addressed that in terms of how direct you've been. And, I mean, a couple of the goals, you got the reward.
Yeah, look, we just overused it. In these conditions, you really have to adjust and just kick the ball more. Through the arcs, we just try to be too cute, and early in this third quarter, we've got it longer and deeper and given our forwards an opportunity to actually compete and kick goals.
And Nathan Abbott, you'd be pleased with his game. He's just thrown his body at everything, and Travis tucked a lot.
Yeah, look, they've been terrific. Look, Nathan's first game back in at senior level, so no, he's been good, and yeah, it's Tuck is he gives us this every week, so no, he's been terrific.
And still loving the coaching game, mate. It's the first time you've taken on your own tide, and you can obviously put your spin on everything, but you're still loving it?
Yeah, still loving it. I don't think I've got any greys yet, unlike your good self, but it's challenging, and it's it can be very rewarding as well.
It's hard getting greys without coaching, Westy. I've got them. Good luck for the rest of the year, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks to Scotty West. What a superstar he was as a player. 324 games with the Bulldogs, 7-time best and fairest winner, and a 5-time All-Australian. Martinello, who's been one of the chief playmakers today, 12 disposals, has the footy at half-back.
Ramo, question for you. Is the tall back?
For Mad Jack.
We've seen McMahon kick a massive torp.
Oh, yeah.
He kicked it about 70 metres.
Yeah, the torp.
Polking Hornet.
We've seen it a few times in the AFL. The torp's back.
I like it. I know when I was playing at Essendon, Dustin Fletcher was always encouraged to kick torpedoes. She used to love it. So, mate, if any opportunity you've got, Fletcher, you go for it.
Absolutely. David Wirrapunda.
Yes,
at the Gabba, going back a long time now.
Well, it was banned by a lot of coaches.
It was.
They hated it, so it's good to see it back.
West Perth aren't quite done with here. They are working hard inside attacking 50. Can't get the results just yet. Here's Kennedy. Martinello. Chain of hand passes, and they will escape. Warmeld to the wing, and Bartholomew cleans up. Tumbles a kick towards the 50, and well worked there by Fowler to prevent Kennedy from slipping free with a hand pass. Just over a minute to play before three-quarter time. The margin is 19 points. Has to be said, in these conditions, that's a pretty handy lead.
Yeah, very handy lead. If West Perth can sneak a late one in here in this quarter with a minute to go, will make things, or just tighten things up and make Werribee just a little bit nervous. And they've got the free kick here, and here's their chance.
Yep, Stephen Brown, who put his head down. Nothing untoward with the contact, but given the way this game's going, just maybe Kennedy slightly making contact.
Well, it was probably a little bit sloppy there by Kennedy, but I don't think there was any malice in it at all. So a definite free kick there, though.
Speaking of kicks, this is a huge one for Stephen Brown and West Perth. After leading by 4 points at quarter time, they trail by 7 at the half. They're currently down by 19. This to give them some life heading into the last change. He couldn't find the mark.
3 goals. We might have the goal after the golden point mark, maybe.
Getting ahead of ourselves, Dicko, a fraction, I would have thought. But
Dicko is desperate for one. Every time we have a close game on the Foxtel Cup, Dicko mentions that he wants to see it.
He wants to do overtime. The sun almost appearing here at the MCG. Salikas from behind. He's got a good leap on him. Couldn't drag it down. Martinello. Tarrant tracked by Donaldson. Ball spoilt in the end by Treloar away from Tedesco. Massive game coming up here this afternoon. Richmond on a roll, taking on the Fremantle Dockers, who haven't won at this ground in 10 attempts. Their last 10 matches have been losses, and they'll be very keen to correct that under Ross Lyon today. There's a bounce forward of the wing, and just 15 seconds to play. West Perth could ill afford another score to be kicked against them.
One thing I'm impressed with is West Perth's defenders. They read the play, and a lot of courage to stand in front of your man, as I've spoken about. But they all do it. They all do it. So it's obviously an instructive thing from the coach.
Ablett in the dying seconds. Across to Kennedy. Time ticking down though. And Werribee have taken control in this match, kicking 2-0 in this quarter. And with 1 quarter to play, it is Werribee Tigers leading comfortably. They're almost on their way to a semi-final. 7-7-49, the Falcons 4-7-31. Contest. Kicked 5 goals against Collingwood last week, so he knows where they are. Oh, brilliant finish. Big clearance for the Tigers with Tuck now across to Tarrant. And it comes with a nice effort from Lynch. The goal is kicked by Treloar, and they start to put a gap between themselves and the Falcons. Yes, the Werribee Tigers turn for home, 18 points in front of West Perth in this quarter-final of the Foxtel Cup. The Falcons led by 4 points at quarter time, but since then, Werribee slowly but surely taking control. As we go downstairs and have a listen to Scotty West as he addresses the troops.
Scotty West just had a chat to his guys and pretty happy. One thing he obviously wanted was, in terms of the third man in, he wants to knock the ball forward, get it out of the space a little bit, because West Perth are just congesting it up. But he was very, very happy across the board because they came inside a little bit more, a bit like what West Perth did. Come inside, cut the game open a little bit more direct, and they got rewarded with 3 goals that quarter.
The winner of today's game goes through to a semi-final to play Morningside. Now, we can't dismiss Morningside. They've got this far.
Not with the Muggalution. We cannot dismiss them at all. So, look, they were brilliant last week, and you know, it was a fantastic game of football against Port Adelaide over there. So, we cannot dismiss Morningside. There's no way. AB and the Muggalution was
they'll be still hungover, I reckon.
Oh yeah,
they were pretty happy.
Yep. Yeah. So they had the night in Adelaide last week. So they would have, I think, been tearing that town apart.
Heavens forbid if they get through to the grand final. Next week, of course, it is Werribee taking on Sandringham.
It's a good point by Scotty West that getting that ball forward, we haven't probably seen a lot of the, you know, just to slap the ball forward or kick it off the ground just to get yardage. We've seen guys trying to really bore in and win that football, but probably over handballed it still, and that's why there's been a few you know, fumbles. So now get that ball, kick it off the ground, hit it forward, because there is teammates still outside that contest that can run onto that football.
Good crowd starting to roll in, obviously, for the Fremantle-Richmond game, which is not far away, and it's great for these players to get that sort of exposure. Rasmussen, run down by Sirakoski, Sharp to Dorr, and he sends a long ball, a high ball. McKinley came from a long way back. It's a Werribee kick in any case, and Costello gives it across to McKinley, and his kick is lace out Tarrant. Silver service it was in the end.
Look, it's been a tough day at the office for McKinley, but the way he attacked that ball, he ran from 30 metres to leave for that ball and go for that contest. That's what he's got to do. He's been well held by Flea, but he's just got to keep presenting and got to keep hitting up at the ball.
He's been like a flea, has Flea, but hasn't lowered his colours today. Tarrant off a couple of steps, perfect off the boot. Out of the textbook, that one.
Well, it was out of the play was actually out of the training manual, where they were able to win that football across half back. We've seen there just the quick handball where there was a free kick, and McKinley just a beautiful kick, just to that fat side of the ground where there was space, and then Tarrant. It's the ideal start for Werribee there. Obviously, you know, it gives them that sort of 4-goal buffer again, and we know it needs shortened quarters in the Foxtel Cup. That's a very, very good lead.
And Majak Dorr continues to impress. Tuck just about took out his own man in Sharp. Salisic with a high ball. It's in dispute. Fairley was under pressure. Salisic gets another chance. Into the pocket. Working hard his strike. Needs support. Bartholomew is there. And the Werribee defence working hard. Spate. Little danger across the face of goals, but ends up safely with Fairley. Across to Tuck. Sees a man loose at half back. Didn't get there, but Sharp's there to clean up. Gibson. And the run through the middle is good. Maybe not the skills to match it, though. And Bartholomew on the slide. Opens up a bit for Jones now. Tedesco. A chance to finish here for Salisic on his right foot. Just drifting. They would have dearly loved to have converted. Just hope for West Perth's sake this doesn't blowout because they've been super competitive, just haven't been able to match it for long enough with Werribee.
It's amazing. You mentioned the conditions have just probably not dried out, but the rain stopped and it's just a little bit more slick in terms of Werribee used the ball and, as you mentioned, a bit of class.
Tarrant sneaks clear of Donaldson, turns quickly. There's Flay getting rid of his man. The ball wanders over the line, and the question being asked by Ben McKinley in rather emphatic fashion, where was the whistle?
This is where Werribee, I'm not sure, inside 50, but try and get the third man in, knock it to the space, and obviously use that corridor like Scotty West mentioned at three-quarter time.
Margin is 23 points. Werribee deep inside their attacking 50. Oh, opens up. There's a whistle, though. It's going to West Perth. That goal won't count.
Gee, very fortunate there too. I don't think there would have been too much in that free kick, but very fortunate.
And once we get on, I know it's not going to count, but the forward stoppages of Werribee have been so dangerous all day.
So a whistle saves West Perth from conceding a goal. Rasmussen have to play on it all stages here in this last quarter, the Falcons, to have any chance. A couple of Tigers were there. McMahon at the back, came from Mangan, and now Barton. Haven't seen a lot of him today, the big man. He did kick 3 goals against Ainsley in round 1 of the Foxtel Cup. Rice on the break, Dawes shuts him down, 2-on-1, should be a West Perth ball, although Fowler beaten to it.
Win.
And big win there by Ruggles. He'll get plaudits from his teammates and his coach. Sharp, back to Ruggles. He runs on. Majak Dore looks behind. The rear vision mirror says, no, I can keep going. And Tarrant plays it well, knocks it to the front. Lynch sold a bit of candy, then gets onto his left. Another dangerous ball for this West Perth defence. That's simple round the body stuff for McKinley. And he has a look up to his West Perth teammate and realises that you go to ground in this competition, in fact in any football, and it's always going to spell danger. But it all was set up by that man, Tom Ruggles.
No doubt about that, and then to bring that ball back into the corridor, Baz, and it's just straight down the other end. It's transition football in every essence of the word there. I know Malcolm Lynch hasn't had a lot of the football today. He's only had the 8 possessions, but I think he's had a really, really good game because what he's done has been so effective, whether it's been a shepherd or, you know, just a little knock on it. You know, it won't show up on the stat sheet, but I've really, really liked his game today.
He's lively, he's quick, gives this Werribee's forward line a bit of spark.
And Tarrant's been so important this last quarter. He's made the difference for me.
You're right, Ollie. He's presented all day and greasy early, but he's going to get some reward as we saw before.
It's really dried up for West Perth. Since half-time, they have been goalless. And Werribee's pressure and finish starting to become a real issue. With 12 minutes to play, they are headed into the semi-finals, barring a disaster. Dore with the extra reach. Kennedy's kick was smothered. Dore's working hard. Now it's Sotomayor, and the fist came from Tedesco. Close to the line and over. Dustin Burns. A lot of his family's come from a place called Tenby, about a 5-hour drive from here. I'm not too sure the exact location. Maybe you do, Ben Dixon.
It's right next to Potty Pop Pond, I think. I had no idea where Tenby was.
I was hoping for some sense and logic, but that went out the door. But I'm told it is just inside Victoria. They've made the long trip. Unfortunately...
What's the population of Potty Pop Pop?
6 people.
Not enough to field a footy side. Kick for Jones. Went through his hands, recovered, and then lost it again. Fairly. Now Tyndall. Cross to Jones. Has a bit of space to work with. Top of the square. Brown. Knocking it to Salikas. And a hurried kick just wide of the mark. And it's going to be a minor score. Ben Maloney was one of the emergencies today for Werribee. And the kick was wide of the mark there by Morrow. Onto the wing.
I don't think the West the West Perth coaching staff will be disappointed today because I reckon they've had a real dip. They've had a real crack at it. Probably outclassed in the end, but I reckon they can walk away from the game with some positives to draw out of it.
Let's be honest, their form in the WAFL hasn't been great. They're currently 5th on the ladder. They're 4 wins, 5 losses, and that draw against East Perth on Monday. So they're not in stellar form. As the ball ends up with Sotomarco. Tarrant again on the lead at the back. Gibson, it sits nicely. Does he go for home or square it? Oh, he does the former and does it superbly. Well, if he'd missed that, maybe there would have been some questions. But with a bit of space and a bit of polish with the kick, that was outstanding.
Well, you live or die by the sword, don't you? If you miss it, you've got every right to question it. But if they kick it, you zip it up.
Especially when there's players inside. But again, it was Robbie Tarrant there on the lead up. The ball went over his head, but as Baz said, he's just presented all day long. But the most impressive thing there with Gibson's finish was he composed himself and he squared his shoulders up to the goals. Whereas guys a lot of time on the boundary look to dribble it or, you know, kick the miraculous banana goal, but he squared his shoulders up and kicked it straight at the goals and he got the reward.
Salisic hatching the footy there, and he'll be penalised. 34 points the lead now. Werribee taking control. McKinley, clever tap. Burns intercepts. Kick was at the 15, irrespective. The ball's ending up with Tuck now on the half volley. Sotomarco, ball inside 50, intercepted by Tedesco as we go down to Ben Dixon with a special guest.
Thanks, Mark. Lane Rasmussen. It's been a great game. Arm wrestle early, where his class has probably shone through a little bit.
Yeah, we've really tried to take the game on this last quarter. We may as well because there's not much to lose we got. So we thought we may as well take the game on. If we lose by 7 or 8 goals, it's no difference to losing by 2 or 3 really. So we thought we'd try that. Yeah,
and Bill's been pretty positive. You're used to the corridor. I think Werribee obviously thought, oh, hang on a minute, West Perth is showing us up a little bit here and they've taken it on and obviously reaping the rewards, but you must be pleased with the way you've gone about it.
Yeah, it was really good to the boys get up early. It was pretty tight contested footy and we had some boys going real hard at it at the start, which was good, lifted everyone. Yeah.
And do you know where Tendy is in Victoria?
No idea.
Yeah, either do I. We're trying to figure it out. They reckon it's 5 hours out of Melbourne.
Oh, really? Any relevance?
Not really. Have you heard of you, Potty Pop Pod?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Good luck for the rest of the game, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks to Lane Rasmussen there. And Dicko just heading nowhere. Of course, that young man, as I said before, has a pet cow, which I thought was quite fascinating. A dentistry student as well.
What, just in the backyard?
No, he's got a property that apparently can accommodate such an animal. And yes, good luck to him.
Yeah.
Big paddock here. I'm not sure it would be allowed on the MCG. Lynch and Donaldson on a collision course. Tedesco mops up. Bartholomew's kick. Little scrubby, but works out. Black out the back door to Tyndall. Grey cloud starting to gather around the MCG again. As Fowler with a high ball. Barton launched himself. Sotomarco getting a lot of it in this last quarter. Martinello spoilt by Black. Comes to Bartholomew. West Perth, their work rate continues. But the scoreboard reads 34 points in favour of the Tigers. Nice release hand pass there by Rice. Strike. Should be able to kick a goal from there. He would have fancied his chances, but the skid went the wrong side.
Well, what's that? 4 goals, 10 now to West Perth. If that's 10 goals 4, we have a game, don't we? And look, Werribee have taken their chances with their kicking, so that's probably an area that they will be disappointed with. They've had the opportunities to kick goals, but there we've seen with Strike running into that goal. Needs to finish better.
And as Billy Monahan said, they probably lack a couple of genuine forwards. Brent Lacroix has previously played a role up there, but that's maybe an area they're lacking. Sotomarco tracks the ball along the boundary.
And as we said about conditions earlier, it does even sides up, and with it drying up a little bit now, we see the differential in the score blowing out a little bit. The class does rise to the top.
Brad Scott, his thoughts on Robbie Tarrant. I'll be interested to hear what you both think of how his game has unfolded as Flay relieves the pressure at half back. Certainly His second half has been terrific. Strike on the slide. Bartholomew pushing very wide. Oh, big effort there on the half-forward flank. And it's Barden. Lump of a lad. Gets close to the man on the mark. It's a wobbler inside 50. Lots of Tigers pushing back there. And Martinello, Sotomarco work it with Sirakoski, hoping for the boundary line and finding it.
He went the torp then. The torp is back. It is back.
You mentioned Robbie Tarrant, and obviously he's had a better second half, but his first half he played his role. He sacrificed, he worked hard, he created space. He knew the conditions weren't suitable for a key position forward, but it's really getting the rewards now, as you mentioned. But that's what I've been most impressive, is obviously in terms of his work rate.
Well, we spoke about the forward stoppages as well. There's been 2 goals from his involvement, from his ruck work as well. So they're all things that add up at the end of the day.
West Perth conceding some ground, but they get it to Bartholomew. It's coming out though. Werribee's defence standing firm. Tuck to the wing. Flay, good use of the body again. He's done that all day, and I know you're very impressed with him.
Nah, look, there's no doubt he's a good player, and you could see him across halfback for an AFL team. He's very steady, he's very composed. You know, he continually beats his opponent, and that's all that you can ask for with those guys. So, look, I really like him as a player.
And he's combative.
Yeah.
One key element, he's combative. He loves the contest and reads it so well.
Jason Salisic, who turned 28 last week, the 2009 Best and Fairest winner, just to kick the first goal of the second half for West Perth. It's been slim pickings. Can the skipper right the wrongs? He does. Slides it home. And a bit more respectability to that West Perth scoreline. The margin back to 27 points with just over 3 minutes to play.
And look, Werribee aren't at full strength. They've got Matty O'Dwyer, who was Best and Fairest winner last year. He's back this week. He's playing reserve grade because he's missed about 6 weeks of footy, but by the time they're coming around to play again, he'll be back in the side. So, you know, they could be a contender.
Absolutely, shaping as a couple of great semi-finals once we get there. Of course, next week it's up at Metricon Stadium with Mount Gravatt and Claremont in action. Kicking in danger against West Perth.
And Claremont top of the ladder in the waffle competition and going along very nicely, and we've seen them in the opening round of the Foxtel Cup have a very convincing win also. So look, they've always been my favourite for this competition, so really looking forward to seeing them next week.
We can all get on the $1.01 pops, Rama. How about sticking your neck out?
Well, last week, of course.
We're all on the Bugalution. He's our favourite, but unfortunately, it's maybe a bit of talent.
Well, the Mugalution's got the Foxtel Cup medal.
Yep.
If there is such a thing, he's got it.
Yes, those short favourites can get beaten, as we saw with Port Adelaide last week. Claremont, I think, were about $1.01 against Pure Thunder in the WAFL, so it's fraught with danger. Perhaps we'll stick with Black Caviar whenever she goes around.
And what's the old saying? You never go broke backing a winner, Dicko?
Better than bank interest, I think it is.
Exactly, as Spate sees the ball over as we count down to full time here. Werribee under Scotty West going to advance in their first crack at the Foxtel Cup into the semi-finals. Majak Dor over the top, beaten by Coonan. Tyndall looking for the boundary line. Gibson taken without it. And just trying to escape there, Costello, making a little hasty exit. Reminded me of Federal Parliament a couple of weeks ago when a couple of politicians couldn't quite find the door. He was sprung by the boundary umpire.
Scotty West will be really, really happy with this because they were challenged quite heavily in that second quarter by West Perth, but they responded really well in this second half. So they'll go away with a lot of positives out of this game, Werribee. But also, as Baz said, I think West Perth can go away with a lot of positive also.
Coming up on Fox Footy, it's Richmond in form up against the Fremantle Dockers at this venue. Should be a beauty. The team almost in position, ready to take us through a wonderful afternoon here as Kennedy heads back to Sherlock.
Just off the back of that, Rama, one thing good sides do is win when they don't play so well. And I don't think they've played all that well today, Werribee, but you know, they're ahead in the scoreboard, so good teams can do that.
The margin is 27 points, less than a minute to play. West Perth heading home to take on Perth next week in the WAFL. They came to see the MCG. I'm not sure they came to see the sun. They haven't seen any of that, but they have received a bit of an education perhaps on what they need to do to improve their footy from Werribee, particularly in this second half. Clever work by Black, slapping it behind, but McMahon reading it well. Tarrant over the top, had a couple to beat, and Brown at ground level. Good spot up. Black kicked a couple of goals today. Can they finish with one? Salikas knocked away by Magnan. Here's Bartholomew from 50. Right foot, drop punt, going all the way. They'll lose the match, but they'll win some fans with their performance here today. A goal just before full time off the boot of Ray Bartholomew.
He's had a great game because he's come up against Sammy Gibson, also had a great game, but they've just had a great duel. They've been mouthing off at each other on the boundary lines, contested ball. They've just, you know, he's obviously got reward for his work rate, but they've had a great duel today.
And they have kept coming. You got to admire them for that. They've kept coming all day. You know, in the last 10 seconds, and they're still fighting for balls. So it's a good effort from them.
3 goals to 2 in this last quarter in favour of Werribee, but Bill Monahan will be content with the performance, if not the result. And the Werribee Tigers, after a very gallant first half performance by West Perth, have emerged victorious by 21 points. Majak Daw terrific today. Travis Tuck got plenty of the football. All in all, the Tigers, as we expected, their class rising to the top.
Yeah, no doubt. It did. And like I said, they were challenged in that second quarter there, Werribee, but they responded really well in that second half. They came out, they were hard, they were tough, and they got the result on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. Scotty West, contented man. Alongside him is the West Perth coach, Bill Monahan. Some great camaraderie. And it is Werribee through to the semi-finals over West Perth here at the MCG.